Hey, what was that? I don't know why my voice just did that. I sound like that old lady from when SpongeBob was trying to sell the chocolate bars.
What it is selling?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I thought that I would do a little, I guess, story time, but basically just reviewing all of my past job experiences because I've had some weird ones. I've technically had 7 different jobs, but some of them were like seasonal and everything like that. So my first job was seasonal, working at Six Flags Fright Fest. I was 16, I believe. I always mix, I like never truly remember which Halloween I worked there, and it bothers me so bad. But that was my first job. It was so fun. I worked in the total darkness trail, so basically I was just blacked out, and like the whole room was blacked out, so anyone going through the maze couldn't see anything, and that's like what made it scary. Some events that partaked during this time where a grown man had punched me in the face because he was so scared. But I was fine, actually. Like, nothing actually even happened. I continued working. I didn't go, like, to the nurse center or anything like that. But a grown man. One of my co-workers that was working further up in the trail was actually coming back, so they were going through the maze. And I was actually walking the direction that she was coming from because I was trying to get to a different part of the maze. And because it was so dark, we didn't see each other and we butt heads. And of course, she was fine. She was still standing. She hit my head and I fell down and hit my head while I was falling down, and like I blacked out for a second, and that's when I had to go to the nurse center that they had there, which is crazy because she's just like a small girl, but a grown man punching me in the face intentionally. Like, I was fine. I also remember my interview for that job was so fun because it wasn't just like a sit-down interview. We were in a group of kids, maybe about like 8 to 10 of us, and we were like in a lineup, and there were like people, like judges basically, sitting in front of the room. They'd be like, okay, now each of you are gonna get your chance to go. You're gonna go in order, and I want you guys to scream the loudest that you possibly can. So we would go in order, and we would step to the center of the room and then give our like loudest scream. And then another one would be like, okay, like I want you guys to fake your death. And well, for the scream one, my mom was waiting like outside, and she said that she could like tell when it was me screaming. I have some pretty good screams. Like, you guys will probably never hear it because I don't want to blast YouTube's eardrums out, but I'm a really good screamer. But for the death one, we did 2. The first one, I pretended that I was having a seizure. And then the second one, I pretended like I was being chased. And I remember I pretended like I was being chased. I got stabbed in the leg, so like I fell and I was trying to crawl away, and I was like looking back at my murderer, like acting like don't kill me kind of thing, and then acting like I rolled back onto my back and I was like trying to back up slowly, and like he like stabbed me. Like, I died. I don't know, my imagination's crazy. But yeah, the whole process was fun. It was a really fun first job. Even the parts of the day that were like really slow during the trail, the room echoed. So I remember just sitting in the corner while I was like waiting for someone to come through, and I would just sing Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran and hearing the echo through the room because it sounded so cool. I don't know why I remember that, but yeah. There was also this kid named Brian, and I remember he was with a group of friends. He came through the trail. And what we do is, if someone hears your name in the like if one of our workers hears like your friends say your name in the beginning, they'll like kind of run to the back of the trail, like through the back walls, and like let us know ahead of time, like, oh, like this guy's name is blah 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 when he comes through, so that it's like we call out their name. They're like, oh my god, how did you know my name, kind of thing. So someone came back and had said that to me. So when their friend group came in, I was like, Brian, like, oh, Brian, like, oh, Brian, like, oh, Brian, like, oh, and he like was like scared or whatever. And then he accidentally thought he was grabbing his friend's hand, but he grabbed my hand on accident, so it kind of made it funny. So we were just laughing. And then he actually came back in with his group of friends a second time, and and he was like, where's the girl that I like grabbed her hand, blah, blah, blah. And like I was like, me? Like breaking character, because you know I'm obviously a good worker. So like literally he had me walk through like that section of the trail with him. We were just like talking normal, and he was like, yeah, like what's your Instagram? So like I gave it to him, and then he added me, and then he came through the trail again. Oh my god, it was funny. And then we actually ended up talking for a little bit, but then he like lived like far away, so we didn't even like bother doing anything with it. My job after that was actually at a Smash Burger, which is like this restaurant. It's kind of newer. It's like a couple years. That job was absolutely awful. The boss was he was an asshole. Like he really was. He was so mean. I remember the day that I came in for my interview, he actually forgot about me, and as I was going to walk into the restaurant for my interview, I saw him walking out the other door to get in his car and leave. And like they called him, and then he was like, oh, I forgot, like right after his schedule and everything like that. So that was just like the first thing. But it wasn't even just me, it was any girl. He wasn't as bad to the guys, but any girl that worked there, he treated so poorly. Like he was so sexist. He would literally yell at us for things that were out of our control. There was a customer who put in his order, and we go over everything that they want, and he wanted regular fries, not smash fries. So I put in the regular fries, we bring out the regular fries, and a couple minutes later he comes back up to where I'm like at my station, like getting ready to bring food out to other customers, and my boss happens to be standing there, and he's telling me like, hey, like I really want smash fries, do you mind like fixing this, blah blah blah. And then I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. He goes, sit back down. My boss takes the fries, throws them to the back of the kitchen, tells me to go in the back. So I go in the back, and he's like, how many times do I have to tell you that you have to go over everything to make sure it's what we want, or else they're gonna make something and it's gonna be a waste because they're not gonna the customers aren't gonna eat it. I'm like, he said he wanted regular fries, and then so he's like basically telling me like I'm lying to him, and goes out to the customer and asks him like, hey, like what happened, like I'm sorry, did we not take your order correctly? And he goes, oh no, I asked for the regular fries, it's just I tried my friend's fries because he got the smash fries and I really liked them, like I thought we could get like an extra order of them. And he was like, okay, doesn't even apologize to me the fact that he was wrong. He just came back and made the smash fries and brought them out to his table and like apologized. He didn't even apologize to me for yelling at me. And like this is stuff that would happen all the time, and things that wouldn't even be in our control. That place is just so crazy though. I can't tell you the like disgusting things that happen there. Oh, I really want to like say, I don't know if I should. I'm just gonna say it. 2 threesomes have occurred in that male's bathroom. Not from customers, by coworkers. Disgusting, unsanitary, repulsive, ungodly, sinful. Ultimately, the ending of that job, I was young to a point in my life where I wasn't allowed to stay home by myself. My brother had a hockey tournament that was out of state. I gave a 2 weeks notice that I couldn't be there for these certain days because I had to be with my family in Pennsylvania. And he basically said, he put me on the schedule, and I told him like, hey, I let you know that I actually can't be here, like I'm physically not gonna be here. And he was like, well, you better find a way to get here, because if you don't, you need to find coverage. And at the time, there was only a couple other servers that I would have had to cover for me. Well, not even servers, they were like cashiers. But they all said no because they were either already working or they had their own thing that they were already doing that they weren't working for. So as hard as I tried, I couldn't find coverage from anyone. And I kept like reminding him like every other day, like, hey, like it's coming closer. I really wish there was something I could do, like if there's a way I can make it up, like picking up like an extra shift, or if you need me or anything like that. And he was like, no, you're on the schedule for this day, you better be here at this time. I was like, I can't. So the day comes where we're at the hockey tournament, and so I'm there in Pennsylvania, and I text him that day. I was like, hey, just letting you know that I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm really sorry again. If there's anything I could do to make it up, let me know. And I wish I had, this was like 3 phones ago, so I don't have the messages, but he sent me paragraphs, like being so nasty. He's like, you're fired if you don't find a way to you can walk your ass here from Pennsylvania. If you're not here in 3 hours, like, you're fired. You're not allowed to come back. You can wash your uniform and have it sitting on my desk. And just, he like actually would involve like name calling. Like, he would call us names all the time, and he called me names all the time. And my dad thought it was ridiculous that like this was happening. Like, my dad didn't believe me that I was getting like fired over this. So eventually I just showed my dad the text messages, and he was like, okay, well, do I need to go talk to this guy too? I was like, no, it's not even worth it. I don't even want to work for like someone who's like that. So I just found another job, which was Dunkin' Donuts. I worked there for about a year, and that job, nothing extreme happened. It was kind of just like, okay. The only problems with that one were really that there was no set schedule. It was kind of like on call. Like, I would be at work, and he would be like, okay, Paige, have a good night. I'll text you later what time I need you to come in tomorrow. And then the next day, I would go into work, and he'd be like, okay, I don't need you for this day and this day. If you want to come in on Friday at this time, like, it'll be fine. So I never knew like how many hours I was truly working a week, which kind of sucked. The coworkers were fine for the most part. It was really just the boss, because he didn't have that set schedule. He also, okay, so one time my mom, because like I came to work and I had leggings on because I came from somewhere that wasn't home, and I didn't have anything else, and I needed to be to work. So like they knew about it, and like I told my mom in like an hour she was gonna bring me jeans, because we're not supposed to wear leggings to work. So that was fine. So my mom comes and brings me jeans. My boss happens to be there, and he actually goes outside to talk to her. And I didn't find this out until like after my shift, after I went home. My mom like talked to me about it. So apparently my boss told my mom that I was unreliable. I wasn't sure how, and my mom wasn't really sure how too, because even at that time, most of that job, I didn't have my car yet, so she was my ride to work a lot of the time. So she knew my schedule, she knew when she was bringing me, and she was the one picking me up, so like she knew I was at work and everything. So when my mom asked him like how was I unreliable, he was like just throwing out like these little examples, things that like really don't matter, but he told her that I made him and his wife miss this really expensive Broadway show in New York City. That was like his Christmas present to her, and they had it planned. They were like so excited. That took place the previous December. I wasn't working there that previous December. I was actually still working at Smashburger. So I had not, it wasn't even like, it was my first week of work. I had not even had my interview. I still had a steady job at Smashburger. Never came to this Dunkin' Donut. So he's like delusional, because he really put blame on me and literally has been holding it against me this whole time. If that's like the reason he thinks I'm unreliable, something that happened a year prior when I wasn't even working there yet. I didn't even start working there until late February. So that's a good 2 months after that even happened. So Mom's like, yeah, he's a little crazy. And eventually my hours just started getting lower and lower and lower. So I got a job at this pizza place that was actually in the complex, and I stopped working at Dunkin'. That job was awful too. I actually only worked there for 3 weeks. I was a delivery driver, and I got fired from there. This is why. One night there was a really big order from someone that I guess like is a regular customer. So I was bringing them their food, and there was like a lot of stuff. So when I got out of my car to bring it up to their door, I put like the bag on my roof, and I would like take all the food out, and I would give it to them. I get back in my car and I'm on my way back to the pizza place, and I get a call from the manager, and she goes, hey, so-and-so just called. They said that they're missing this from their order. So I pull over, I check like my back seat, I check like the front seat, I check inside the one bag that I had. There was nothing there. So I was like, yeah, I don't have anything there. I really don't have it like in my car. I looked everywhere. And she goes, okay, well, I guess just come back. We'll make a new one. You'll have to bring it to him again. I was like, okay, that's fine. So I get back, which is like 10 minutes after she called me, because the guy lived a little bit further, and for God knows why, we delivered to like places that were like 25 minutes away. The moment I walk into the door, the boss comes up to me and he goes, hey. I'm like, hi. And he's like, so you're gonna rebring this guy's food, right? I was like, yeah, I just came back to pick it up. And he's like, uh-huh. And he pulls out his phone. He goes, can you tell me what this is? And it's literally a smashed up box that says their restaurant's name on it on the road. I'm like, that looks like a pizza box that has like the restaurant's name on it. And he goes, yeah, I'm friends with the local police around here. I'm like, okay, like, do you want to like get to the chase? I didn't say that, but I was just like, okay. And he goes, yeah, he saw a car with because you know we have like the little hut things we have like as a magnet on top of our car to like let them know that it's a delivery car. He goes, yeah, he saw a car that had like our magnet thing on top drive by, and he thought it was like sketchy because it was in a sketchy area. So he like followed the road that you took and saw this laying on the side of the road. I'm like, oh, so it must have fallen off. I must have left it on top of my car, and it must have fallen off of my car. Like, that makes sense. That explains why the guy doesn't have the food, why the food wasn't in my car specifically, why it wasn't left at the restaurant. So that's my mindset. And he's like, no, like, that's a really sketchy area. I don't even know why you'd be taking that road back to the restaurant anyway. I'm like, well, I don't know these roads that well, so I type in my GPS, and when I type in my GPS, this is the road that it tells me to go down. And I actually pulled out my phone and looked up from the address of the customers back to the restaurant, and it actually shows that road to go down. Yet he still wasn't believing me. Like, he thought, like, I don't know what he thought I was doing. He thought I was like drug dealing. He goes, yeah, there's like a lot of drug deals down there. Like, oh my God, I totally forgot about Toys R Us. After Six Flags, before I even worked at Smashburger, I worked at Toys R Us. Very short period of time. We got paid every 2 weeks, and out of a 2-week period, I would work one day because of how slow, like, it was going out of business and everything. So it was really slow in there. And eventually they just took me off of the schedule completely, and after like 3 weeks of that, I was like, okay, so like, am I fired? And long story short with that, they actually didn't give me my last paycheck. About 4 months ago, I got a thing in the mail saying that I had a check that I actually never picked up. So I'm like, oh wow. So I sent the return thing back in the mail, let them know, okay, like, this is my address, like, you can send it to me. And I get a letter back like, oh, well, they filed for bankruptcy, so you're not gonna get paid. I was like, great. And actually now I'm off to a job interview at a different Dunkin' Donuts, so I will catch you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below any crazy work stories that you have, because I love seeing videos about that kind of stuff, like, you know, like psycho boss stories and just like any like bad coworkers or just crazy experiences that you've had, or a really bad experience that you have working, and let everybody know where not to work. Also follow me on social media, and I will talk to you guys later. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Are you studying?
No, I was making a YouTube video.